Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. Oh my gosh, people, I have been praying for my husband, and thank you so much for those of you who have been praying as well, because he's been having health problems, let's be fair, for quite a while. He just wasn't willing to actually look at it until recently, and now he's in a panic. And I get it. He cared for my father, his mother, and my brother all until their last breath. He's so brave, it's crazy. Well, when he decided that he was going to actually acknowledge this gigantic hernia and some of the other ailments that he's been having, he panicked because he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid they're going to open me up and just close me up and say there's nothing they can do, the way they did for my brother Patrick. And God is bigger. I pray that will not be the case. We're going to have to deal with things one by one. He's not there for cancer, he's there for hernia. But he has a lot of other indicators in his blood work and stuff like that, that there's trouble. And so I welcome continued prayers. But here was the answer to prayer, because God is so good. So I wrote a letter to member services saying, you're kidding me, right? My husband's in insane pain. His hernia changed. There's like fluid now. And you're telling me that you're cool to wait until the 22nd? And you gave him 3 days of pain meds. What? So I just said this isn't acceptable. I've intentionally chosen your health plan my whole life, and I expect more than this. And of course it was, 4th of July weekend and whatever. Well, right away, they wrote us back yesterday saying, hi, we got your note and thank you very much and we'll be in touch. And then today, all of a sudden they called and said, we moved it up to the 15th. And I'm like, okay, well, that's 1 week. Praise God. We'll take it. It's a start. And then they, said, thank you so much for your letter. And we're going to have another meeting this afternoon and we'll let you know if anything changes in our favor, right? And I was like, okay, great. All of a sudden they call back and say, are you available the day after tomorrow for the consult? This is for the surgery consult. Okay, it's not another, how are you doing and can we take a third CAT scan? It's, yes, you've been approved for surgery and let's plan to make that happen. Yay God, right? Now, I know some of you guys would never opt for surgery. I so get that. But my husband has had a very difficult journey. He's been the healthiest he's ever been just in the last few years with me. But in his life, he's been very hard on his body. And sometimes when you get to this step, it's best to get in there and clean it up and sew it up. And then ideally change moving forward, which I pray will be the case. So I'm so happy and thanking God so much. And I will continue to pray, of course, because this is just another step and there's so many unknowns, but it's the right step. And for that, I'm very grateful. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. All right, so today is Tuesday, and what you saw as the icon for this video was a wake-up call. I almost said nerd alert. Nerd alert. As in, are you kidding, Juliana? Okay, let me tell you what went down. So for a while I was so excited because I was finally in the 190s. I pretty much weighed like 192.7. I rounded it up to 193, and I was so happy for that. Well, I decided, of course, that I wasn't gonna get on the scale and I'm just gonna trust my food. Well, hi, expert compulsive overeater. Hi, majored in deception when it comes to food. I have no business not checking on myself. So I think it was really probably in March that I decided to not participate in the raw reset, which is something I mention all the time. Put it up into the search, Tanny Raw Reset. It'll tell you all about it. It's so amazing. But yeah, I chose not to participate in the reset. And then there was another reset in May, and I was like, no, I'm drowning. And I absolutely was drowning, no doubt, in school. There's so much going on, and I won't be able to give it my undivided attention. And I was I would have probably been content to not give it my total attention and still benefited, but the energy was just saying, yeah, if you're not going to fully participate, please don't. Okay, so I didn't twice in a row. Now, I don't have to rely on the Tanny Raw Reset to be well, but because getting raw and learning all the tricks and the ins and outs and just discipline in general for me, it helps me. It helps me a lot to just keep a constant awareness, perfectly imperfect. Unfortunately, I ended up on the imperfect way too many times. So in getting ready for the Raw Reset, which is coming up, and you only have a few more days, please, it's so worth it. It'll change your world. TannyRaw.com. I'll put it in the description of the video. $2.99 for the most amazing month of your life. But anyway, bike race, I did teach summer school. I got the money and I was able to pay for it, and I'm so thrilled. And I'm super excited about it. So today, I kind of woke up in a mindset of get your cupboards in order, get your food in order, get ready to be successful, and don't wait. Don't wait for the 2 weeks, right, to continue to flounder with your food before the reset starts. You can get on it now. So with that intention in mind, I went ahead and weighed myself. And I was just like, girl, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah, up almost 16 pounds. In 4 months, I guess, because I think the January reset, it was 192.7. And then I just can't even believe it. I can believe it. I've been uncomfortable in my clothes, and I got rid of all my heavy clothes. So I knew there wasn't that much wiggle room, and some of my pants don't even have elastic in them, meaning in the fabric. All my pants now have a button and a zipper and everything else, but some of them have a little bit of wiggle room. I've been very aware. A lot of people hid in sweats and stuff during the reset. During the pandemic, and I didn't. I taught primarily on campus. I still wore real clothes like every day, and I'm so glad, because I don't know where I'd be. But with summer, I did continue to teach for summer school, trying to have a pattern. But I knew, my husband was even saying, Juliana, is that on your plan? Juliana, are you sure you're okay with that? Hun, is that, now I hear him saying it again and again. And I was just in survival mode. I wasn't really honoring myself in my life, my daily life, let alone my food choices. So you know what? It's okay. It's okay. First of all, I don't have the answer to anyone, though I tend to in my head, right? I'm still answering to grandma and to my dad and my mother and all these people who were lovingly concerned with my weight. Even Sister Judith, even Father Collins, even just beautiful friends in my life who were always saying they'd like to love a little less of me, to lift my chin, both of them, to, hey, don't worry, we've got a piano just your size to bury you in. I know it's also vicious. And it was really their issues, but I bought into it, and I can be very abusive to myself. And unfortunately, I knew. Even now that I'm looking back, my urge jar has had a lot of urges in it, but this thing is usually filled and refilled every 3 weeks, for sure once a month. It's been sitting, and I think it even has dust on the top. And then my journal, please. Now, this is a thing that I do by accident. I accidentally with intention, I guess, I get so busy that I stop actually writing out my food. I just start saying clean, on the days that are clean. And then usually on the days I struggle, I'll actually write that out in detail so I can reference it again. But I really should write it all. And I know when I start just saying clean, 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 I'm already letting my program slip. Another thing is I was doing stickers every day for exercise or eating correctly. And I can tell my calendar from June is missing several days. We're already in what day are we? Day 6 of July. And I got nothing. I got nothing, my friends. So it's okay. Again, it's just a wake-up call. I get it. There's been so many reasons. There's always a reason to not care for myself. There's always a reason to accidentally comfort myself with toxic waste. There's always a reason to care about others more than me. Always. I will always have a reason. The courage is in making the better choice. So I am going to get into my calendar because I have been clean for the last 5 days, and I have proof of that because I wrote myself little notes on notepads instead of putting it where it belongs, which is in my journal. So I am going to take some time with that. Even Monkey was saying, "Where have you been, Mom?" Right, Coconut? Where have you been, Mom? Because normally I would give Monkey a talking to. I'll say, "Coconut, seriously, get off my back." And Coconut, stop. You like all the time. And Coconut's like, "Cricket, cricket. Where's Mom?" Nowhere. I've been in survival mode with my husband's illness, with my nephews not being provided for, with family coming to town unexpectedly, with I can give you stuff all day long, okay? It's not going to keep me well. And if I'm not well, I can't serve. And that's where I'm at, I mean, I'm a prayer person. I'm a God person all day long. But I'm also human first and foremost. And I do get scared, right? I do get anxious. I ask God. I boss God around. I tell him my business. And I try and leave it in his hands. But I'm willing to say, "Hi, I'm really struggling right here." Because, for instance, and I don't have any business doing my husband's inventory to the world, so I'm not going to. But one thing I'll say, in getting his numbers done, there was one number that concerned me because it was really good up until now. So good. Again, month after month after month. And it wasn't this time. And I was like, that can happen if there's infection. We know there's infection right now. But it worried me. When I brought him to the ER, I hovered like a helicopter mom for as long as they let me, because I didn't want to not be there for him. We really complement each other that way. We love each other. We care about each other so much. We strengthen each other. He's the yin to my yang, right? He's the love to my dub from my heart. He's the exhale to my inhale. I mean, it sounds like cliches, but it's just true. We met very young. We've been hanging out a very long time. And I'd prefer him to be on the planet a long time. And I often tell God, if he'd like to just come anytime soon so we could just walk off the planet together, that would be my preference. Can't know unless I ask. Hey, it worked with, member services. It can work with God too. All right, so I just wanted to check in and tell you guys that. So today, yes, I ate completely clean. And again, this is already day 5 of eating right. And I'm kind of in an interesting frame of mind right now, because one thing is that I have always calorie restricted. That's just straight up. I've always calorie restricted because that was the game. I was a professional dieter from 3rd grade on, and it's been very hard on my body. And what's unfortunate is that in a way it's still being asked of me. And I'm kind of distraught about that. And because I don't have to answer to anyone, and praise God with my bloods, all of my things are in order. I don't have any ailments that would be immediately affected if I went a different route for a moment. So I'm really pleased being plant-based vegan. I'm stoked to be raw vegan most of the time. It's definitely a great way for me to live. And I'm kind of good for all of that. I'm just praying about the continued calorie deficit, which to my body may feel like starvation, and which to my big picture could look like calorie restricting. And I'll leave you with this because I'm actually going to do a video on it tomorrow. There's this book, which is actually called, I think it's called The Starvation. I read about it. Hold on. I read a lot of it, but let me see. Yeah, I talked about it before. I'm sure if I put it in my own search, I will find it. It was called The Starvation Experiment, and it happened at the Minnesota. Let me look for that a second. It was called the Minnesota Starvation Study in 1944. What was so interesting about it is that these men actually had 1,600 calories a day. They were served 2 meals a day and ate 1,570, close enough. 1,570 calories a day. As a result, they lost approximately 25% of their weight. For the final 3 months of the studies, participants were refed and rehabilitated. Anyway, so interesting. 1,600 calories a day? Wait, what? Isn't that a pretty generous amount? I mean, let's think about it. Most people, when they're dieting, are supposed to eat about 1,200 calories a day to make sure that they create a deficit, right? And for me, it's always recommended that I eat between 1,400 and 1,600 calories. But I just don't know if that's valid. And I'm going to talk about more of that tomorrow. I got to get back to my dude. Anyway, though, peace be with you guys. Thanks for your prayers. Keep them coming. They're working. Let me know how I can support you in the comments below. Like if you like, and join us if you haven't. Hit subscribe. And until we talk again, best of all, know that there is a God. I'm not him. He does answer prayers, but you have to ask first. Ask and you shall receive, and therefore, you're blessed.